As jy nie veronderstel jury wees nie.
Oh, fuck God.
Skree meneer, skree.
Jy moet net skree.
Oh, we also supposed to stand.
You don't have to.
Okay.
It's fine. May I confirm, is it only 3 jury members present today?
As far as I know, it's supposed to be 5, Mr. Ben.
Yeah, we can start if it's possible. All right. Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you to the jury. Thank you to the jury for joining us today. We're here today for the court case of. Let me just quickly check the records. Of Mr. John Black versus the state. We've got 3 jury members. We will allow Mr. John Black and his attorney to proceed with the case first, and we'll allow the state. We'll allow the state to counter or to defend on those. All evidence has been submitted to the jurors and the judge. Please, we'll remind the attorneys that they need to refer to the evidence so that we can read the documents, as no documents have been read before the court case. If you all understand.
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense for Mr. John Black, are you ready to start proceeding and to place your allegations before the court and jury?
I am, sir.
Please proceed, attorney.
Good evening, everybody. I'm just quickly going to go through the statement of my client so that everybody knows why we are suing the state and what it's for. Give me a second.
While he's looking for his documents, we'll please remind everyone to please eat their beverages and have their drinks, and no one passes out in the court case.
All right, so the sworn statement for John Black states, on the night of the 30th of April 2022, I was stopped by one of the saps officers just outside the drift shop. I then proceeded to ask the officer what was wrong and the reason he pulled me over. He then said that the parachute I just had installed was illegal and that I must remove it. In brackets, I quote, I took full responsibility and agreed to get it removed. However, the SAPS officer then said that my entire vehicle was not road legal and that it was a full drag racing vehicle. I then said to him that it's a road legal vehicle and that it was registered by JMPD to be on the road. The SAPS officer then did a full inspection of the vehicle and agreed that he can see my plate and lights front and back, and also my indicators front and back. The officer on scene was Mr. Jacques Leroy. JMPD officer John Vigor then arrived on scene and did a full inspection of the vehicle as well. However, he could not see my lights or indicators and decided to impound my vehicle. The only thing that was changed since the registration of the vehicle was the parachute. And on the scene, I agreed to remove it immediately as I were around the corner of the drift shop where I have just installed it. That's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that the opening statement for Mr. John Black? So we will allow
That's
opening
correct.
statements now for the state. The state, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir. Mr. Vega, can you just go to the front and just like I can do it? It's fine. Your Honor, like Mr. John Black, I can speak. Good evening, jury and Your Honor and citizens. As I can state from my from the state side, we agree that the exact same thing that Mr. Swart announced here is that Mr. Vega did arrive there after the SAPS pulled over Mr. Black there. And then he also explained to me that when he got there, the car wasn't road legal because of the lights being dumped with metal plates on the front and the side. He then proceeded to impound the vehicle, take it to the impound, also took Mr. Black there. And then as soon as they got there, he helped him to get the car out of the impound. After that, they took it to the drift shop where they asked Mr. Black to please make his car road legal. We tried to do that and he failed a bit. And then at some point he asked for help, and that's when Mr. Vega came and helped out Mr. Black. And yeah, from there, by Mr. Vega and after witnesses I have, the car was road legal from there. That's the statement from the state side.
Thank you. We'll allow the attorney for Mr. John Black now to present his evidence to the court and to the jury, including witnesses, if he has such.
Sorry, Your Honor. Sorry, Judge, could I ask if you could maybe just step next to the jury member so I can show you the document as well, please?
100%.
So these are the vehicle registration for the exact same vehicle on the 30th of April, earlier that very same morning.
Sorry, Your Honor, can I just want to know what evidence should be open up now so me and my client can also see?
I think that the attorney for John Black is referring to a vehicle registration that he's supplying as evidence now. So we would overrule and will allow him to proceed with the evidence.
So if you want me to open the evidence again, I'll do that. So on the document, you will see that earlier that morning, the very same vehicle was registered at JMPD. So you're seeing that my client has on scene admitted to the parachute being wrong. I'm going to rule that out because he said he will sort that out. But the vehicle was impounded due to lights and indicators not working as per Mr. Vega. Okay. Now my question to the state is, if the lights and indicators does not work, how did this car pass a vehicle registration? Because when a vehicle registration is done, all lights, front, back, and indicators are all tested. So how did this car pass with the exact same lights it had when they pulled him over? How did it pass the vehicle registration? That's the only evidence I have, and that's the only.
We have an objection there for the state. Yes, you may proceed, sir. Objection for the state. So I'm just going to walk a little bit closer.
Sorry, sir, I didn't notice. I was so sorry. No, I just wanted to know, the opposite attorney is asking questions to the state, but there's no one in for questioning, so we don't know how we're supposed to answer that question.
Yes, he's leading evidence now to say what so far. You may share the documents with them that the vehicle was registered by JMPD in the morning of the offence, where he claims that the lights and the indicators was indeed tested.
So does he want to question Mr. Vega over here about it? Because he said he's the question to the state.
All right. Would you like to call Mr. Vega to the stand?
Please.
All right. Please proceed. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, yourself.
Well, can you identify yourself for the court?
I'm Sergeant John Vega from the JMPD.
All right. May you please repeat after me?
I will.
I swear by Almighty God that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the court. So help me God.
I swear by the mighty God that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the whole truth to the court. So help me God.
All right. You may proceed.
Mr. Vega, how are you?
Fine, yourself.
Good, thank you. Just a quick question. I take it it's not you, maybe it was you that registered the vehicle that morning, am I right?
Incorrect. The vehicle was registered by someone else.
All right, not a problem. Mr. Vicker, please, with a simple yes or no, please tell me that when vehicles are registered by JMPD, do you guys test headlights, taillights, and indicators?
We do, yes.
All right, and you agree with me that by having a vehicle registration means that the headlights, the taillights, and the indicators on that vehicle passed your test?
Negative.
Okay, so can you explain to me?
Okay, so the vehicle registration is just to make the car registered to your name. It is not to make it roadworthy.
Okay, so please explain to me. I'll present you with the evidence. As you can see on the document, please explain to me why, firstly, the letter at the top says vehicle registration and not ownership of the vehicle. And secondly, why, if it's an ownership of the vehicle, does it have an expiry date?
Okay, sir. So that's pretty simple. The vehicle registration is to register the vehicle in your name. If it was for roadworthy, it would say a roadworthy certificate. And what was your second question?
Why would you have a document to show that I own a certain vehicle, but then have an expiry date on it?
So to make sure that you still own the vehicle after a certain time, if you were to not register the vehicle for 30 months and you might sell it in between, then that person might start driving around on your registration, you understand?
Okay, but this is exactly my point. You say that you want to make sure that I still own the vehicle. I won't own the vehicle if it's not road legal. If I don't register it for 30 months, it's not road legal. This is exactly what my point is. You cannot have a ownership paper with an expiration date.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Sorry, I will allow the objection. Please give your
So can
reason.
we just, I agree with that. If there's just any proof of a document by a document that can state that you can't go for a roadworthy certificate without, if you don't, before you go for your car registration. So I just want to know if there's a document that states you cannot go for your car registration if your or vehicle registration if you do not have a roadworthy document. Thank you.
Okay, I am.
I don't understand what Ben
Okay,
just said.
so objection is going to be overruled on the merits because he's challenging the vehicle documentation to be the roadworthy, as per the witness statement we received now. The JMPD member has confirmed that they do indeed check the vehicle lights and indicators. So I am going to let him proceed with the questioning based on the fact that the witness has stated already that they do indeed check the vehicle lights and indicators, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I just want to know where he said that in 30 days you can't go to get a vehicle registration if you don't have a roadworthy certificate. So I just want to know where does he get that info from?
No, I never said that.
Okay, on the basis of the objection with the 30 days, I agree. I am going to abstain, and I would ask you to rephrase your questioning towards the JMPD, sir.
My question was that if the document has a 30-day, 20-day, whatever expiration date on it, is your document then going to say 20 days from now I don't own my vehicle anymore? How can you have a document expire if I own the vehicle?
Okay, so it's pretty simple. Even if you have a vehicle registration form, it's car papers basically. That it does not mean that the vehicle is roadworthy. That paper does not deem the vehicle roadworthy.
All right, I'll take that. That's fine. But just again, everything needs to be tested when we do that test. Am I right?
That is correct, but we do still give the papers out even if some things are obscured, as the lights and the number plate and so. But the vehicle does not qualify to be roadworthy at that time. Then.
All right. No further question.
We allow the state for cross-examination now. The state may proceed.
Okay, Mr. Vigo.
Listening. I'm finding yourself.
Good, thank you. Mr. Vigo, was the vehicle pulled over by the SAPS?
That is correct.
Mr. Vega, in your professional experience, is a vehicle like that roadworthy?
It is not roadworthy at all.
If we can all just look at, if you can open the case of John Black, please. Let me just give to Mr. Black as well the documents. You can just see the photos there. We can look at photo 3 and 4 there, please.
For reference of the court, can you please confirm the name of the evidence that you are submitting?
Case of John Black.
Case of John Black document. We'll ask of
Yes,
the jury
please.
to please open the document. You may proceed.
Mr. Vega, do you have one of these documents?
A negative.
I'll give it to you quickly.
Thank you.
Okay, so as soon as everyone's got the document case of John Black open, if you can just go down to picture number 3 and 4. That was the vehicle, the picture of the vehicle after it came out of the impound. So I think that is what happened before. Like that's what it looked like before it went, into the impound. So that is what I'm questioning Mr. Vega here now. So I'll just ask you the question again, Mr. Vega. In your professional experience, is the vehicle in picture 3 and 4 roadworthy?
I'm just waiting for picture 3 and 4 to open in my eyes.
Okay.
Sorry, this is taking a while.
No problem.
Yes, man. Yes.
Does anyone else have a problem with the document, the pictures?
Who was it?
Negative.
I do have the pictures open on case of John Black.
Cool. Mr. Vega, you got it?
It's still opening. My eyes are very, very slow today.
Okay. Well, Mr. Vega, we could go on by you saying that night when you pulled him over, the way that the car looked and the way you looked at it. Everyone else can see picture 3 and 4. They didn't know what it looked like. You can't remember what it looked like. So, in your professional opinion or statement, is that car roadworthy?
That car is not roadworthy in the pictures.
Okay. Mr. Vega, when you got to the scene, what did the SAPS mention of why they pulled over the car?
Okay, so the vehicle was reported as a drag spec vehicle. When I got to the scene, I have confirmed that it's not a drag spec vehicle, but that the vehicle is not roadworthy due to the lights being covered up and the number plate being covered up.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vega. Mr. Vega, can you please explain what a vehicle registration declares? Again, please, as you mentioned to Mr. Swart.
So a vehicle registration form is just to say that the vehicle belongs to you. It does not say that the vehicle is roadworthy. If you do not have a vehicle registration form, the car might as well just be stolen.
So can I use the example for, let's say I have a Formula 1 car. It's not roadworthy, but I can still register it as my car. So when I go drive Formula 1 with it or something like that.
That is correct.
So it's an example of you can still register a car, but it doesn't mean it's roadworthy.
Yes, I can still register a vehicle even though it's not roadworthy.
Exactly. To agree with you. Okay, Mr. Vega, can you agree there is no document that you or any JMPD member signed that stated Mr. Black's car is roadworthy?
That is correct. There is no document of such.
Okay, Mr. Vega, did you fine Mr. Black for the parachute?
I did not. I did not give any fines except for the impound fee.
Okay, Mr. Vega, you have 3 different level of fines, correct?
4 different.
4 different fines. Can you just explain to us what they are?
Okay, so we have the lowest fine of 3,500, and then we have a fine of 5,000, a fine of 7,500, and a fine of 10,000. Each fine we decide which one we're going to give depending on the crime.
Okay. And what fine did you fine Mr. Black?
7,500.
Thank you, sir. Sir, did you assist Mr. Black in the drift shop?
At first, I took the vehicle to the drift shop. Me and one of my officers on a flatbed. We dropped him off there, and then at a later time, when it was told that the plates have been removed but the lights still do not work, myself and Chris Long have escorted the vehicle to the drift shop, where I then got into the vehicle and paid for the lights that worked myself, giving the gentleman a option of which lights he wanted. He just wanted the normal ones, and Mrs. Long was standing next to us with a RX-7.
Okay, thank you. And who paid for the lights, Mr. Black or you?
I paid for it out of my own pocket.
Thank you, sir. That's all from my side. And I just want to finish again by asking the last question. So you're sure there's no document that you or the JMPD or anyone in the JMPD signed that clarifies that that car is roadworthy?
There is no document of such.
Thank you, sir. That's all from me.
Thank you.
Can we just, can the state just call up a witness, please?
We'll just allow for cross-questioning by the attorneys of the defending or the suing party. If they do not have any questions, you may proceed to call your second witness.
Sorry, Your Honor, sorry, my ears didn't work really. Can you please repeat yourself?
No problem. I'm saying, do you have any questions for the witnesses called upon the state?
No, sir.
All right. May we proceed for them to call their second witness?
You can do, sir.
All right. The state, you may proceed. Thank you, sir, for your service.
So may I just ask a quick question? Is it possible for us to first ask the complaint of the questions and then afterwards maybe call our witness? Is it possible?
It is possible. However, you've requested your witness
Yeah, but
secondly
if I can
by...
withdraw the request.
You may record address. To the attorney team of Mr. John Black, would you like to call any witnesses at this time?
No, I don't like to call any witnesses, Your Honor, but my client won't have a problem to go up now.
All right. The state, would you like to proceed to have the client come up and state his case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You may proceed, sir.
Go.
Please identify yourself for the court.
My name's John Black.
I swear by Almighty God that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I swear by the Almighty God to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God.
All right, you may proceed, sir.
All right, Mr. Black, can you please explain to me the morning of registering the car, what the procedures was, and when? Please explain to me since the minute you got to JMPD and when after you had your papers, what was the procedure, please?
So when I proceeded there, the officer there on duty from JMPD asked me to please park my car into the square designated there, which I did. He then proceeded to ask me to please put on my headlights, my indicators, and did the proceduring check. He then, however, saw that the indicators were not working, but however, he did see a reflection in the back for the indicators. He did say that it's not a clear visibility, but he can see that there is reflections of the indicator. So he then proceeded to say that he will then pass the vehicle, and if I can please step inside so he can hand me the paperwork. But my understanding on that, by handing me the paperwork, he then said that I asked him, am I able to drive the vehicle? Is it fine? He said, yes, the vehicle is now fine. You can drive it. My question as well is why, if I get pulled over, if anyone in the city gets pulled over, they ask you for that paperwork.
So according to state, sir, that paperwork is there to prove that you own the vehicle, but we'll get to that now. Second question, all I want to know from you is if they've checked your indicators, they've checked your front lights, your back lights, everything. In your opinion, do you think that's a ownership document or proof that your vehicle is on the road?
Proof that the vehicle is on the road and roadworthy.
Well, I can object.
Thank you.
We can't have opinions in the court.
Proceed with your objection.
No further questions, John.
I am gonna overrule your objection. The attorney clearly made it in your opinion. being in the defendant's opinion, giving the statement. So he's asking me what he felt when doing the procedure. He's not saying it was a legal or binding document. He's not saying it was a legal statement. He's saying, in your opinion, did you
Okay.
believe so?
100%. Thank you, Your Honor.
No problem, sir. All right. The state, attorney team for John Black, have you done with the questioning? May we proceed with the state for their cross-examination?
I'm done, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, the state, you may proceed.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Black.
Good evening, sir.
If everyone could please just open the case of John Black's document again, please. I'll give you 30 seconds and then I'll start. Okay, Mr. Black, as we heard from your opening statement, you stated that everything that happened was correct and your car was perfectly fine when you got there for the first time, and that the only thing you take responsibilities for is the parachute, because that's the only thing you changed after you had your car registered, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Mr. Black, if you can look at picture 1 and 2, can you please confirm if those are the pictures you sent to me via my phone when you said that is the original pictures of the vehicle when you got it?
I never mentioned that it was the original. I said I have photos of taken of the car before before headlights were changed, sir.
Before headlights were changed? Because I heard it in front of your lawyer was you said it's your original photos.
The photos that I said to you, sir, when you asked me if we can have photos of the vehicle, I said to you I took photos of the vehicle before and took photos of the vehicle
Okay.
after.
So, sir, you can agree with me that your car is there in front of the drift shop?
Yes.
Okay. So this was before you got pulled over, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So as we can see, that's you driving out of the drift shop with the parachute at the back in picture number 2, correct?
That's correct.
So, sir, how do we know and how can you prove that you didn't do all the cosmetics on the car in that moment in there? So you want to tell us that you went in there just to do the parachute?
Well, just to ask you a question there, if I may.
Welcome to, sir.
All right. I went into that, if you can see as well, I went into it to the drift shop, not for just changing the parachute. I had a performance problem with the vehicle, which I asked the drift shop to please assist me with, and they proceeding assisting me with the performance issue I had in the vehicle. And thereafter doing that, I then added the parachute on the vehicle and left the drift shop.
Yes, I have no problem with that. The way I think is, and what's a problem for me here is, I hope you have witnesses that can confirm that the car looked like this when you bought it. And because for all we know, we are going off of a statement now saying you were inside the drift shop and when you got out, there was a parachute. But we don't know if you put in all these cosmetics because these were the first pictures you took of the car. And as we can see on the pictures, it's coming out of the drift shop. So it's possible that you did it there.
May I intervene?
Do you have any ever proof that the vehicle entered the drift shop looking as such in your pictures indicated?
No, sir, I don't have proof that it looked
Gentlemen,
like
I'm going to stop you both there, sorry.
Yes, sir.
We would ask the state to question directly if there was any changes, and we'll ask the countersue to answer these as he is under oath.
Okay, sir. Mr. Black, if you claim those are the original photos which you did, or the photos of the car when you came out of the drift shop, so why is there a parachute at the back of your car? You already mentioned, so why is there a parachute at the back of your car?
I thought it looked nice and it looked nice on the vehicle, so I added it, which I took full responsibility for.
Yes, sir. But I mean, it's blocking the number plate and it's for difference. You don't see a parachute in the road anyway. Okay, just mention.
And honestly, I only realized that after they pulled me over.
Okay, Mr. Black, did the JMPD fine you for the parachute?
Negative, sir.
Did the JMPD help you recover your car from the impound?
At a cost?
I mean, that's the fine you had to pay for your mistakes. So I don't think they helped you at a cost. I think you had to pay for the fine. Do you agree?
By my understanding, when I phoned JMPD, they told me that the fine for 7,500 that was billed towards the impound fee was including in the towing. So
Okay,
at the
thank you, sir.
time, they didn't tell me exactly what the fine was. They just
the-
said it's 7,500. That includes towing back to the drift shop.
Okay, for helping you. Okay, sir. So if everyone can please refer to picture 3 and 4, please. You as well, Mr. Black.
I've got it.
Mr. Black, is that your vehicle in photo 3 and 4 after they got it from the impound?
Yes, it is.
When you look at that vehicle in picture 3 and 4, do you believe it's roadworthy?
Well, according to JMPD, which I'll go according to a law-abiding citizen, yes, it was.
But I'm asking you, do you think it's roadworthy? Because the JMPD never said a parachute is roadworthy, just to correct you there. I just want to know from your opinion, like we had earlier, do you think that car is roadworthy?
With the parachute on? No.
Okay, thank you. Give me a sec. Okay, so obviously, from the evidence, you changed the car after you registered it. Why would you put in the cosmetics if you know it is not roadworthy?
I have no idea, sir.
To the
Do you
state, I'm
bel-
just going to interrupt you, guy. We just need to be careful of leading the witness. The witness did state that he was unaware that it was illegal when he placed it. He did say that in a previous statement, so let's just be careful of leading.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Did
you.
the JMPD go out of the way to help you, sir?
No, not at the time, no.
Did the JMPD then try to help you fix your car at the drift shop?
And, after when I first stipulated to JMPD, when he tried to help me assist in the car, I offered to give him money to assist in that. I had money on my pockets. I asked him for his ID. He then turned around to me, and I quote from his mouth, "Don't worry about it. It's on me."
No, it's no problem. That's what I said. I remember you said in front of your lawyer, the night I asked you, you said they also couldn't get your headlights to work. Is that true?
Correct.
So they couldn't get your headlights to work.
At the start, yes.
Okay. Then what I would like everyone to do, if they can just quickly close this document and open the document that says confidential, please. I'll give you another 30 seconds before I start asking questions. Okay, so I just asked you, did the JMPD get your headlights to work? You first said no, and then later they did. Okay, so as we can see from picture 1 and 2, sir, is that your car?
That's correct.
Okay, is that you standing outside your car?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, and as everyone can see there, your headlight. Okay, I just want to know, sir, why when someone would go out their way to help you get your car roadworthy, you will go and sue them, and they didn't even fine you for the parachute and made a lift and offered to help you to the drift shop?
Just to state on that as well, sir. The offering to help me was well after they impounded the vehicle. And second of all, when he came through to come and assist in the vehicle, as you can see, as you quoted now in the lightings, that at first they couldn't get it working. This is well after. Then they managed to get it sorted.
Okay, so but you couldn't get it. You said, with your opinion, you can't get your car's headlights to work, correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay, so the JMPD helped you. Okay, so the moral of the story here from me now is they tried to help you and still you went and sued them. But as everyone can see, in the bottom left, there is the proof that Mr. Vigo paid for the mod. If we can just close this document again and please go to the case of John Black again, please. And then please take a look at picture number 5. Mr. Black, you as well. Just let me know if you have it open and you can see it clearly.
I have it open. Can see it clearly.
Okay, Mr. Black, when you look at picture 5, can you confirm that that is your car registration form?
It says vehicle registration. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Black, are you suing the state because they gave you that certificate? Can you please tell me where that certificate states that your car is roadworthy? Can you just tell me where you see that it declares your car is roadworthy?
Any document with an expiry date is a vehicle is stated as a vehicle registration saying that the vehicle is roadworthy.
Okay, but that's speculation, so that's not, you don't have any proof of that. Do you?
Why would an officer ask you for these paperwork to say for the vehicle registration?
It's to
find
register the
roadworthy?
vehicle on your name. So as I can show you with the next picture, let's just hold it there. So everyone can agree there's nowhere on the vehicle registration that it states that your car is road legal.
Sorry,
So
Jan, may I ask the lawyer a question as well here?
You may proceed. I will also remind the state not to lead the witness.
All right. I would like to ask you, please, sir, if this letter stating vehicle registration, and you guys have stated in your statement that it's only a owner to state that I own the vehicle. Why then at the top it says vehicle registration, not paper of vehicle ownership?
So I can explain it to you. If you can go down and you can look at picture, I'm just going way ahead now. If you can look at picture, just give me it's picture number, let me just check on top here, picture number 8. That is a legal document from the South African government that says you need a vehicle registration if you want to go do a document for a roadworthy certificate. It's two different things. If you look at picture number 6, picture number 6 is an example of a vehicle roadworthy certificate. That is the certificate you need to get if you want to claim your car roadworthy. You need a vehicle registration form so that you can go to, as you can see on the last picture, you needed there to apply for a vehicle, for a road-worthy vehicle certificate. So you need, unfortunately, you need a vehicle registration to get a roadworthy
Objection,
certificate.
Your Honor. In the city, it doesn't work that way, and we all know this.
Yeah, you can get documents.
The evidence given forward to the state at this point is not relevant to the city at all.
If
I
you,
must agree there with the defense. There was with them because there's no evidence submitted that this is a requirement in the city, even by JMPD.
okay, Your Honor,
So-
can I also just, there's, if I
Yes,
underline
you
there,
may
you can
allow
see
me
it
to
says,
finish, and then I will. The state has made the case with JMPD to say that the vehicle was brought in. There was no mention of additional documents. So I do understand where Mr. Swart is coming from. Is there
Yes,
any
sir.
proof that you can submit to the court that this is a requirement within the city and the government of Unity?
What, a vehicle roadworthy? You can ask, it's like when you ask someone for a loan, you make a document out for it. The JMPD, if you can ask them, listen, sir, can I just get a roadworthy document? I'm sure they can make a document for you.
All right, but does the onus lay on the citizen to do the roadworthy if there's no legal requirement?
But I mean, there's no, as you asking me of proof, they don't have proof to show that the vehicle registration says it's roadworthy. There's no proof of any document that says the vehicle
I
is
agree
roadworthy.
with your
Objection, Your Honor.
statement.
Again, the vehicle registration also, there's no proof on it to show that it's an ownership document.
It is. It's the name,
It
John
says
Black. It says
vehicle
name, John
registration.
Black.
But vehicle registration in up top and at the bottom, if you read there, it says it's proof that the vehicle is registered. Now, it's not to say that the vehicle is in his name.
And I must agree with both attorneys. Both of you are trying to push a point. And I understand what Mr. Swart is saying. He's asking for the referral of where the government does issue these documents. At the end of the day, this is the argument that you're going to put through the jury. And the jury will decide if the evidence is substantial on both arguments that it is a requirement or it wasn't a requirement, wasn't mentioned. However, the objection is sustained from Mr. Swart that we would ask you to refer to re-question because it is unfair to ask the citizen for a document that we do not know that it exists.
No, so I'm not asking for that document. I'm giving him an example to show him what that type of document looks like. So there's two different documents. You can't go and sue someone for saying, listen, you don't have a roadworthy, but they never gave you a roadworthy document. Nowhere does it state that it's roadworthy. But that's an example. Like I said, it's an example of a roadworthy document where it says roadworthy. the status. It says roadworthy status, roadworthy. Roadworthy base status, past and issue. It says it's an example that you need something like that on a paper if you want to sue. There's no proof from the complainant where they have anyone signing that, listen, his car was roadworthy. They don't even have a witness here in court today who's stating, listen, I said his car was roadworthy. They have no one here. So how can we know he didn't make the changes afterwards? That's my
Sorry,
question.
Your Honor.
100%, but it could be argued that he is not suing for the roadworthy as you've mentioned now. He's suing for negligence. In that, he could argue that the Metro, JMPD, did not inform him that the roadworthy was not on vehicle registration, if I understand correctly.
Correct.
So this is why I'll say we'll allow, but I do agree with Mr. Swart that we cannot ask the witness at this time for documents that he's not aware of, that is not in the city. And therefore, I'm substaining.
I mean, so I never asked him for those documents. I just showed him an example that there is no, that's what a document looks like who says it's roadworthy. His car wasn't roadworthy, and that's why he went to court. He has no evidence of that, so that's what I leave in the jury's hand regarding that.
100%.
So I don't have any further questions for you on that. It's just that you are suing the state. Let me just read the part for you again quickly.
Objection,
And then
Your
I'm gonna
Honor,
read
we all know what the case is.
I don't think we know, sir. I just want to read it again.
We allow him to proceed with what it is, but we must remember the suing is for negligence on the state side. There is no mention of any additional charges unless you guys have not sent me all the documents.
No, I sent you the document. We are doing a counter sue for false accusations against the state.
100%, and that we will
So I just want to read
talk
it
to the
quick.
jury too.
Mr. Black is suing the state for giving him a vehicle registration form, even though his vehicle was not roadworthy. He discovered later when he got pulled over for only adding on a parachute. That's what you Mr. Lawyer, and your client agreed with me this afternoon. Thank you, Your Honor. If I could just call out my witness, please.
You may. Do you have any questions again for Mr. John Black, Mr. Schwartz?
No, I'm happy, thank you.
All right, the witness may be released from the stand. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. The state, would you like to call your second witness? Any objections from the defense attorney for Mr. Black? Or are you happy to proceed?
Your Honor, if Ben can do his questioning first, please.
No problem. The state, you may proceed.
Can I just ask Mrs. Lannick to come forward, please?
So sorry.
Mrs. Lannick, if you can just sit there for me, please.
Well, sure.
Just make sure you speak loud and clear, please, ma'am.
I can do that too.
Good day, madam. Can you please identify yourself for the court?
Good afternoon. I am Lenica Long.
All right. Will you please repeat after me? I swear by Almighty God that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I swear. Sorry, sir. Can you repeat that?
No problem. I swear by Almighty God that I'll tell the truth. Nothing
Also,
but.
sorry. Can we do it in little parts? 'Cause
We
it's very
can,
long.
ma'am. I swear by Almighty God
I swear by the Almighty God
that I'll tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right. You may proceed, Miss Long.
Okay, Mrs. Long, do you work at the thrift shop?
Yes, sir. I own the drift shop.
Where were you when the JMPD helped Mr. Black?
So I was in the spray booth. I was busy applying some modifications to one of my cars that I put on the showroom floor in
Okay.
RX-7.
I can just bring it to the attention of the jury as well, and Your Honor, that you can see that also in the confidential picture number 1 and 2. You can see the RX-7 next door. Did you see the vehicle in picture 1 and 2, ma'am? If you can open up the confidential form.
Yes, sir. I did see that car in the spray booth.
Did the JMPD help fix it?
Yes, sir. Mr. Vigor was in the car applying the changes.
Okay. After the JMPD helped Mr. Black, did these headlights work?
Yes, sir. After, yes.
Thank you, Mrs. Lannick. And then from my side, I just want to say, if I know Mr. Swart's going to cross-examine you now, I just want to state, from my side, I mean, the JMPD went out of his way to help, and they still got sued for it. And even though there's no proof of roadworthy document from their side, I can't see how this case can stand. That's all from my side.
Mr. Swart, are you ready for cross-examination?
Yes, sir.
You may proceed, please, sir.
Sorry. Hello, Mrs. Linek, how are you?
Hello, sir. I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Sorry, I didn't catch my breath. Just a quick question. So, how many times was my client at your shop to try and fix his lights?
Oh, sir, I was in and out busy with call-outs, but I believe I saw Mr. Black twice.
Thank you. So, the second time he came around, Mr. Vigo was with him, correct?
Yes, sir.
And when they left, the lights was working, as we can see in Mr. Ben's document.
Yes, sir.
So it's safe to say that my client did state the first time he tried himself, couldn't get it right, and then Mr. Vigo helped him. Am I right?
Oh, sir, I cannot confirm that the first time he was in the spray booth.
All right, no problem. Your Honor, my questions is done. I just want to obviously say that the whole case we made and the reason why we're suing is because the vehicle document itself does not state that it's a ownership paper, and according to myself, if you have an ownership document, it does not expire
I
until you
object, Your
sell the
Honor.
car.
Can I hear the objection?
The objection is that that's not why they're suing. They're suing because they believe that he got the registration form, and by getting the vehicle registration, and by getting the vehicle registration, he believed it meant it's a roadworthy document.
Correct.
Never did we sue because
getting
of
there.
it doesn't say it's a proof of ownership.
I'm
But
getting there.
can we place both attorneys that those are closing statements for the court and the jury? So we will ask that those closing statements, both attorneys will have a defense to, once all the witnesses have been questioned, to do their closing arguments.
Thank you, sir.
And those closing arguments will be read to the jury. I will then address the jury before they make the verdict on exactly what the cases should be. That both attorneys can be present when I speak to them, because we need to remember that the charge here or the suing is for negligence. That the defendant or the claimant feels that he wasn't informed properly, if I understand the documents correctly,
Yes.
and the state is claiming that he was informed. It wasn't a vehicle roadworthy, but just a vehicle registration. This will be then up to the jury to decide that which way should it have gone, if there was enough information given to him by the JMPD or not. But that will come in your closing arguments. I will say, let's proceed and finish with the witnesses first and allow cross-examination. Then we will come to closing statements if both you honorable gentlemen agree.
Agreed. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Ben, you happy with that?
Agreed, Your Honor.
All right. Do we have any more questions for the lady, or may we release her from the stand?
We are done, sir.
The state?
So done, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your service, Mrs. Long. You may be released from stand.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Do we have any other witnesses to call?
No.
I see.
The state, do you have any more witnesses to call?
I can just call the chief of JMPD to the front, please.
You may proceed. Good day, sir. May you please present yourself to the court?
My name is Chris Long. I'm the chief of the JMPD.
Thank you, Mr. Long. Will you repeat after me, please?
Sure.
I swear by Almighty God that I will tell the truth,
I swear by the Almighty God that I'll tell the truth,
nothing but the truth,
nothing but the truth,
so help me God.
so help me God.
You may proceed, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Long,
Yes, sir.
if I can just ask you, sir, to clarify all the speculation in the air about the vehicle registration form. If you can just explain it to us step by step, spoon for spoon, so everyone can understand it clearly what a vehicle registration form means and why it's not for a roadworthy vehicle, because I don't think we have the logic to understand it. So
Objection, Your Honor. It's no point in doing it in court if everybody outside doesn't know what it means. It should be said.
No,
it should be said when we do the registration. It should be said to you.
Your Honor, Please excuse me, but I think it's common sense that we know it's a vehicle registration. It means it's for ownership. We don't have to write you a special letter to let you know it's a vehicle ownership. It's logic.
I agree with both attorneys in this case. And I'm going to allow the questioning to go on, Mr. Swart, because again, this is for the jury to decide if Mr. Black was reasonably expected to understand this or not to understand it. And Mr. Ben has had conversations with Mr. Long to explain that for him. For him, it might be common sense. What the jury needs to decide is, was it common sense for Mr. Black to know that, or was he informed? And that's what I think they need to make the decision on. And when you get to your cross-examination, you can then obviously ask those questions relating to that, if that makes sense.
Perfect.
Are you happy with that verdict or
Yes,
that
sir.
judgment?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then we allow the state to proceed, sir.
Okay, Mr. Long. So, like I said, please just explain it spoon for spoon so everyone understands it, because we clearly we don't understand what a vehicle registration is, please, sir.
Okay, so vehicle registration form is issued to a citizen of the state of Los Santos for basically showing that that vehicle belongs to them. The license plate number which is on there will state that belongs to X person. And that basically means that if they get pulled over in a 1011 traffic stop, and we ask them for that documentation to show that that paper or that vehicle that they are in belongs to them, we can match up and say, okay, this person, whether it be Jon Snow for argument's sake, he's driving this blue Subaru. We can confirm and say, listen, this blue Subaru with this plate does belong to him. So we know that he's gone through the necessary tests, you could say, to a certain degree, that this vehicle does belong to him. Now, when someone comes to us for vehicle registration, because we are police officers, we go through the checks of the vehicle, regardless if the vehicle is road legal or not. But this is not a roadworthy certificate. So what this basically means is, he'll come to us. We've got a little parking spot where he'll park. We'll demarcate it. He'll go through the basic checks of the vehicle to see if it's got headlights or brake lights. Some bikes have come to us that does not have plates. They physically cannot put a license plate on the motorcycle itself, but we do register the vehicle because it's to show that it does belong to them. That does not mean that the motorcycle or the vehicle in question is road legal.
Yes, sir. So if I can just add, we can just swap the word belong to them to own to them. Because at this stage, we don't know what's ownership, or you can't understand it. So we can make it a belonging letter as well, because it also belongs to someone. So I'm just stating clearly that it's common sense. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's all from my side.
We allow the attorney for cross-examination now. I believe the state is done.
I'm coming, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Long, how are you?
All right, to you, sir.
Good, can't complain. Mr. Long, tell me please, if a vehicle comes for registration, I hear your argument that it's a ownership document, but tell me something. What does ownership have to do with the indicator not working?
I'm not really understanding your question, sir, because
So-
an indicator, if you referencing an indicator now. So again, as I mentioned previously, we don't determine, based on whether it has a license plate or indicators for the car to be road legal. That documentation that we give you is to say that we are happy with this vehicle. Okay, this vehicle does belong to X and X, but this does not necessarily mean that this vehicle is roadworthy, whether it be plates on the vehicle, whether it be headlights being covered, whether it be in a parachute, for example. That unfortunately will have to go through a roadworthy test.
I'm with you. I
That's not
understand
our
that
department,
100%. That's not my question. My question to you is, what does a ownership document have to do with indicators, headlights, backlights? What does it do?
Your Honor, can I just object, please?
You may proceed with your objection.
Can I explain, please, sir? Remember, the client got pulled over for... the complainant got pulled over by the SAPS for his indicators and stuff not working. This has nothing to do with the document. They never said he was wrong because the document, or anything to do with the document. He got pulled over by SAPS, and he would have been pulled over by JMPD as well, because the vehicle isn't roadworthy.
100%. I understand what you're saying, sir, and I respectfully say so. But I'm going to overrule and I'm going to allow the questioning because it's a question not relating to your client directly, but he's putting a question to the Metro Police of what it's got to do with it. I do believe this is important information for the jury to know that what is the relevance between the tests and the vehicle registration.
Thank you, Your Honor. So,
So-
Mr. Long, if you can please answer.
Yeah, so our checks that we do is to make sure that that we are happy with the basics of the vehicle. So, for example, we'll go to the checks and we'll state to the person after we've done everything and say, listen, we notice it doesn't have a plate on it. Please go get that sorted out because if you do get pulled over, you know, it will be against you, for example. And the same will go with anything really. If it's got headlight covers or whatever it might be. But the thing with this document, it's not a roadworthy certificate. So it's a vehicle registration document to say that you own this vehicle. That's what this is.
All right. So you just said to the court that if there's no license plate or anything on the vehicle, you would advise them to get it sorted out. Am I correct?
That is correct, sir. Yeah.
So in my personal
Advise,
experience, I bought the vehicle and brought it for registering, and they refused to register it with other license plate.
Okay, but that's who was the officer on duty, and also I don't think there's relevance to this case.
Mr.
No,
Swart,
I'm
yeah,
with you.
sorry,
I'm with you.
Again, this
Mr.
is
Swart,
speculation.
we are gonna, I am gonna subscribe
No,
that.
100%.
Let's keep to questioning the witness directly on yes or no questions to where he can question and not work on hearsay.
All right, perfect.
Thank you,
I
sir.
apologize for that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So, just the last question: if you agree with me that an ownership document has nothing whatsoever to do with indicators and lights not working, then your document that you give to the client or to whoever registered the vehicle, it. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the right word.
Yeah, let's keep to questioning. Ask a direct question to the witnesses instead of trying to lead. With due respect, I have warned both parties on that. So ask your question directly to the witness so you can answer by a yes, no, or explanation.
All right. So, the question is yes or no. Would you agree that then, if we come do, or anybody for that matter, my client in this matter, come to do a vehicle registration, which in your case is now an ownership document, checking of headlights and indicators and stuff is basically pointless.
Agree and disagree, sir.
No
Because
further questions, Your
in
Honor.
my
Yeah,
professional opinion,
can we ask the witness to elaborate for the jury
in
more
my
than for
professional
me?
opinion, it is pointless to a certain degree, yes, because we don't do the roadworthy, so that is correct. But in my professional opinion, because I am also the chief of Metro, it is something that we check anyway because we would like to assist the person to say, listen, this is not working, that is working, you need to get that changed. Because if that is wrong and we pull you over, you know, you don't have a leg to stand on, unfortunately, because, you know, the vehicle then is illegal. It's not roadworthy, road legal, you could say.
All right, last question. Can you please just say to the court and the jury, are you aware of any road legal documents in the city at all?
You mean the roadworthy certificate? is that what
Roadworthy
you're referring to?
certificate, correct, yes.
As far as I'm aware, there is no roadworthy certificates. That is correct.
Okay, in saying that there's no roadworthy certificate, do you agree that if there's no roadworthy done on a vehicle, there's no, how can I say, proof to say that you do need these things to be correct? You do. If there's no roadworthy, how can you state that my client's vehicle isn't roadworthy?
Sorry, sir, I'm really not understanding your question. You
So
said it
I'm
was
asking
two
if-
questions
sorry, if
last
there's-
time, and now it's another question. So
If
I
there's-
agree
if
with
there's-
the witness there. Let's rephrase for
if there's-
singular questions.
Sorry, Your Honor. If there's no roadworthy documents stating that the vehicle is roadworthy, how can you say that my client's vehicle is not roadworthy if you haven't done a roadworthy yourself?
okay, so can I just add to that?
Please.
So anything can happen. A vehicle can come to us, and everything will be perfect. Headlights, everything's 100%. What stops the person at hand to go and change those items afterwards? unfortunately, that's something it's not in our control. We are there giving a vehicle registration document. The document states that belongs to that person. Whether that vehicle is then roadworthy or not, whether we give it to a Formula One car, for example, that is unfortunately not something that we can sort of say that vehicle is not roadworthy. It's not our department. But if that vehicle does get pulled over and it doesn't have plates or doesn't have headlights, then it is going to be impounded, and we'll have to deal with it in the necessary way that we'll have to. But we unfortunately do not have a roadworthy test center. We do not have documents stating that the vehicle is roadworthy. So the vehicle registration is to say that you are the owner of the vehicle. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
All right, last question, and I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Mr. Vigo. What is your opinion on a ownership document? Sorry, I'm calling it that because that's what you guys are claiming it to be.
It's a vehicle registration document.
Yes.
So just to rephrase it, please.
On an ownership document, what is your opinion on an expiry date on an ownership document?
Yeah, so any ownership document, no matter what it might be, an ownership document can mean I own this premises. There normally is an expiration date to make sure that you still own that specific item, or in this case, a vehicle. That's what's called the vehicle registration document, because there is a registration number on the paper. That's what's called the vehicle registration document.
Okay, but surely you'll know that
Negative, so it's a vehicle registration document, not an ownership document.
Sorry, next question. Surely you'll know.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it. I thought that was the last question, or is this interrogation as well now?
Surely you'll know that.
Sorry, just to interrupt you there, Mr. Long. The attorneys are allowed for cross-examination, and I agree with you that he did claim it was the last question. However, he is allowed to still cross-examination. You
until I just keep getting the same question.
No, I understand, and we have handled it.
Cool.
Surely, if a vehicle is sold, a change of ownership is done via the car seller's app or via a lawyer's letter. Am I right?
The right way to do it is via a lawyer's letter. That is the correct way to do it. Yes.
Correct. So why, again, is there an expiration date if you can clearly see when the new owner took the vehicle over?
Because we have to put expiration date. So let's say you sell the vehicle 4 times over, but that document is still laying around. We can sort of, and let's say, for example, they've got that still in the glove box. So that vehicle, then we pull that vehicle over, we notice that this is the right registration, but belongs to a different person. There's going to be questions asked. That's why it has expiration date, so it can have a new ownership on it.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chris. No further questions.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. To the state, do you have any more questions for Mr. Long? Sorry, will you repeat that?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Long, for your service. We appreciate it. We would also let the jury know he is the chief of JMPD, so his witness statement will go as a professional statement in the court hall. All right. Do we have any more witnesses to call?
Fine for my side.
No, Your Honor.
All right. We will proceed with closing statements. We allow Mr. John Black's attorney to do his closing statement and to the jury directly, and then we'll allow the state to do their closing statement to the jury directly. May I please ask both attorneys to clearly state what the charges are that you both are suing and counter-suing for. The jury will decide if both or either of we can say not guilty verdict to say that, listen here, he was not guilty and that they will proceed with the costs, etc., or not. And please mention the cost to them, because the judge will not get involved with the jury. He'll just take a verdict and read a verdict, including all costs.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. May proceed.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. From our side, we are suing the state for 100,000 rand. That being all the cost that my client had to go through to get his vehicle up to standard after that the JMPD asked him to change everything and told him that it's illegal. Also, all the time he had to spend at the offices and loss of income. So that's what we're suing for, firstly. Secondly, my closing statement would say that if a vehicle is, as you guys have heard in my questioning, if a vehicle is registered and it's registered as per to your name, it's not a vehicle to say that the vehicle's on the road. Firstly, I will fight this that it doesn't need an expiration date. firstly. Secondly, on the document it says the vehicle is registered. Sorry, it says the vehicle is registered. Doesn't state that it's an ownership document. All I want to say is when any vehicle, if you guys have registered any vehicle at JMPD, any vehicle that's gone that you take through for registering, all lights, front, back, and indicators are checked. And if they don't work, again, probably hearsay, but they won't give you the papers. I do not see how they can pass a vehicle the very same morning with the exact same modifications to it, and a few hours later impound the very same vehicle they registered the morning. If I'm wrong and it is not a roadworthy document, which I'm sure 90% of people think it is, then I apologize. But my personal opinion, if they've checked your vehicle, if they check lights and everything, why would you check lights to make sure that you own the vehicle? I can buy a bicycle with no lights and still own the vehicle. At the end of the day, that's all we have to say, and that's why we are suing the state. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you very much for that. We'll proceed as state with closing statements and also the amounts of countersuing to the jury.
Jury members, if you can maybe just open document case against John Black. Case of John Black. Okay, all I want to add is quickly, it's going to be short and quick. Based out of today's case, the complainant and they only had opinions, speculation. Why would we, for example, now the question was asked, why would we check a car now and 2 hours later pull over the same car, the exact same thing? I can stop there with my follower and it's perfect, its lights working, then I can go to a shop, quickly remove all my lights, remove my roof, remove my window, and that means my car is fine. 2 hours later, they can't pull me over because they checked my car earlier. I mean, everything of this case from the complainant side has been speculation, opinion. There is no proof, no photos, no evidence, no witnesses, nothing. It's just a plain case, some rude way to attack the JMPD for doing their job after the JMPD and the witnesses stated the JMPD went out their way to help Mr. Black over here and to get his car roadworthy. Even you can see in the confidential report afterwards, at the end of the day, the JMPD went out to help Mr. Black. His car was working at the end, his headlights is working, he's a roadworthy car now, he can't be pulled over, he can't be fined, and his life is safe. That is what the JMPD's job is to do. We can't stand here attacking stuff that's supposed to be common sense and making it as if the JMPD doesn't know what they're doing. And these guys are professionals. You even had the chief in here today admitting that and how it works. So we as people should just know that and how it works. So what we are doing, the state is countersuing the complainant for false accusations against the state. If the state is found not guilty, it means the complainant is guilty of false accusations. If you can just go down, it's underneath the papers, you'll see that statement there, and then you can also see the amount and why it's for. The countersue is for false accusations against JMPD. See picture 7 for an example of a real fine for false accusations. We will fine Mr. John Black for 150,000 rand of that, and then we will also fine Mr. John Black for JMPD lawyer and court fees. 30,000 rand per JMP member. That is Mr. Vega and Mr. Long, and also 10,000 rand for the court fee. So that's 40,000 rand times 2, 80,000. So at the total sue amount of 230,000. Thank you, Jerry. I hope you understand that you can understand our position. Thank you so much, everyone.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Am I allowed to just state something in regards to my lawyer's closing statement as well, please? Just add something on there.
Unfortunately not. The lawyer has already issued his closing statement, sir.
So I'm not allowed to have a say in questioning what he stated in his closing statement. Not my lawyer, but the city's lawyer.
Unfortunately not. Yes, you're not allowed, sir. The closing statements have already been made for both attorneys.
All right.
So we won't allow it. All right, to the jury member, I thank you for your time. We will release you now to go make your verdict. We would ask you to please keep in mind all the essence and please apply the reasonable human scale of what a reasonable human would have done in that situation. We would also ask you to take consideration for the amounts to sue, as we will take your verdict, and your verdict will be passed as a judgment from the state. We will allow you a few minutes. Please let us know when you're done. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. All right. May I ask on you to call the verdict as soon as everyone is ready?
Meneer Jocks is still.
I can call it, yeah, no problem.
He's in his head.
But attorney, only attorney costs.
Sorry.
All right, 100%. I'm just waiting for the attorneys to come.
Koffie gedrukt. Ek sien so.
Could you hear everything?
Yes.
From who?
From him, not you.
Oh, fuck.
Pas op vir hierdie meneer Jake. Pas shit.
Is all the attorneys present?
My attorney is present.
Where's the attorney for the state? May he stand? All rise. Thank you very much. All right, the verdict is issued. The verdict is that the state is not guilty. However, there has been adjustment in the cost. Only cost for the attorney fees will be paid. No compensation will be paid to JMPD for losses. This is the judgment of the court and is the final judgment. Thank you very much for your service to the jury and for all in attendance. Court adjourned.
That's it. Let's go outside quickly.
Sure.
Secure.